Greed ruined Mortal Kombat 1, and today you'll learn the full story. However you feel about Mortal Kombat 1, love it or hate it, I think we can all see how divided the fanbase is. Mortal Kombat's reputation has been comboed pretty hard by this game. In other words, many fans are upset about how this game was handled, from overpriced DLC to absurdly priced microtransactions, very grindy game modes, and so on. And honestly, it's a real shame because I think Mortal Kombat 1 has incredible gameplay and could have been the best Mortal Kombat game. But unfortunately, Greed handicapped this game out of the gate, and that's no exaggeration. You'll see very soon how Greed crippled this game from the starting line. You very likely noticed that my voice is gone. I'm going to try my very best to finish the video anyway, because it's a very important lesson on how not to run a video game. Anyone responsible for the decisions mentioned in this video should never be allowed to touch any video game ever again, because whatever game they work on next is also going to be ruined by them as well. Even though the core elements of Mortal Kombat 1 are fantastic in my opinion, like the title of this video says, Greed ruined Mortal Kombat 1. First up, we have the release date. That's right, the greed starts here, because Mortal Kombat 1 was not ready to launch in September, nor was it originally planned to in the first place, and that became clear to everyone playing the game in those early days. The data in training mode was wrong, you couldn't even map the moves, the online did not work properly, there was no crossplay, even the story mode had glitches, and so on. The game was obviously meant to drop next year in 2024, but somebody up top, very likely the game producers, rushed it out of the door and forced it to release in September. And why did they do that? Because they wanted the money right away. In other words, they got greedy. I found a great article on GameFAQs that does a fantastic job explaining what likely happened to this game and why it was forced to release months earlier than originally planned. So feel free to pause the video if you want to, but to keep things simple, many other video games that were owned by the same company that owns NetherRealm and Mortal Kombat 1 had underperformed that year. And of course, that looks really bad to investors. So now Mortal Kombat 1 had to drop early to make up those costs and make the earnings for 2023 look way better. And ever since Mortal Kombat 1 was forced to drop early, NetherRealm has been playing catch up the entire time. Some of the game's week 1 issues would still not be fixed until many months later, like the crossplay feature. This was a terrible start for Mortal Kombat 1 because players were immediately upset. They were basically tricked into buying an unfinished game, all because the people up top wanted to get paid before 2024. Greed had already begun to ruin this game. Next up, let's talk about the costume prices. If you turn on Mortal Kombat 1 today, then the costumes cost around $5 or so, which is similar to other fighting games like Tekken 8 and also Street Fighter 6. However, it did not start this way. For the first few months of Mortal Kombat 1, these costumes cost $10. That's right, an entire deck of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, or at least that's the price I paid as a kid. To put it another way, if you bought only 6 of these costumes, then you would be purchasing the game a second time. Whoever's idea it was to charge this much, you managed to upset all of the players all over again. And if I worked at WB, you would be replaced immediately. But sadly I don't, which means you're free to make more dumb decisions like this in the future. So hopefully you work on a different game at the very least. My fingers are crossed you'll be working on a different genre. Stay away from fighting games. But I digress. Charging this much for skins right out of the gate made the message very clear. Mortal Kombat 1 was all about money. This game's main priority is to earn those dollar bills. And as mentioned earlier, it's because other games owned by WB had flopped terribly, and now Mortal Kombat 1 is expected to cover those costs. And I want to make the record clear, I do not think that NetherRealm was responsible for these prices. I really don't. It was likely one of the producers or managers, you get the idea. So do not get mad at NetherRealm about these prices. Get mad at them for waiting an entire year to buff Natara and Havoc. Alright, but now time for a funny side story. At one point, Mortal Kombat 1 announced a new holiday-themed stage. Johnny Cage's mansion was going to get a Halloween makeover. It was completely free and also looked really cool. So as a result, fans were excited until they learned it was only temporary. That's right, originally this new stage was going to be for a limited time only, which means once again the fans were upset. This game could not get any cheaper. The costumes way too expensive, any DLC way too expensive, and the free stuff only temporary. Now thankfully somebody with a brain saw the outrage and fixed this problem by making the stage permanent. And that's great, but it has me wondering, why was the stage temporary to begin with? Did they plan on charging for this later on in the future? I bet they did. I would not be surprised if the original plan was to give us a taste of this new stage, then take it away and bring it back, but this time you have to pay for it. Ooh, that's right, little gamer. Did you enjoy that Halloween stage? It can be yours again. Just spend money this time. My voice is already going. This is not good. But then we have the holiday finishing moves. That's right. Mortal Kombat 1 was charging us for finishing moves, which had been done before in Mortal Kombat X, I think. However, the prices were much lower, or possibly even free. My memory is not the best. My point is, DLC finishing moves were not a new idea, but they were very lowly priced, so nobody cared. But not this time, baby. $12. That's right, $12 for just one of these bad boys. But get this, the backlash from fans was so fast and so swift that the price got dropped immediately. Players were raging out all over social media, and it actually worked this time. So now, if you paid $12 in advance, you would get all 3 of the holiday finishers instead of just one. But keep in mind that 2 of them were not even available yet, just the Halloween finisher, which was also frustrating. Just charge $2 or $3 for finishing moves individually as they arrive. Don't be greedy and demand that players buy all 3 of them at once, because when you do that, it sends a clear message that all you care about is money. These holiday finishers are not for the fans at all. It's just a fast way to make money by overcharging those same fans. This was another massive blunder for Mortal Kombat 1. Everyone earlier who bashed the game for being greedy and anti-gamer had just been validated, and anyone left who did still trust the game was having their faith tested. So now we come to the final nail in the coffin. If you thought $10 for one costume was crazy, then hold your breath. And if you thought $12 for one holiday finisher was crazy, then hold on to your butts. Bundle. New story mode, 6 new characters, and a bunch of new costumes. Everything fans wanted, and also what this game needed to keep itself alive. And all it cost you was $40. That's right, and depending on where you lived, it was even more expensive. Well, surely we can buy the characters separately, right? Nope, you gotta buy all 6 of them right now. Otherwise, you're waiting months until you can play any of them. And by the way, players didn't even know there'd be an option to buy the characters separately later on, because NetherRealm never mentioned that, and WB never mentioned that. Or in other words, for all players knew, if you wanted to play any of these characters, then you had to buy the entire DLC bundle. There was no way to play them separately. Okay, well, what if I want to buy story mode separately? Can I do that? Just buy story mode? No, of course you can't. You have to buy the entire bundle. If you only want to play the story mode and don't care about these DLC characters, then too bad. You gotta pay for the whole thing or get nothing at all. And the same thing goes for the new costumes. There was no way to purchase any of this content separately. It was all or nothing. Pay the $40 or get no new content at all. Yeah, this was the final nail in the coffin for Mortal Kombat 1. Nobody trusted this game anymore. The producers had made their message clear. This game would never offer fair prices for anything. It was all about earning them money. NetherRealm tried to fix things as best they could by offering lots of free content afterwards, but it was too late. The damage had already been done. Most Mortal Kombat players already had their faith beaten to a pulp. Even players today who are waiting on Kombat Pack 3 are still woefully aware of how expensive it's all going to be. And just like before, there likely won't be an option to buy the characters separately. And the same goes for Story Mode Part 3 and also the costumes. All because the people up top who control this game want money above all else. Even if that means permanently damaging the game's reputation. Plenty of players still enjoy Mortal Kombat 1, myself included, but it's still frustrating to look back on how horribly this game was handled, and it's not even a matter of hindsight. Any normal person would have known not to charge $10 for a costume. Any normal person would have known to not charge $10 for an announcer. Any normal person never would have charged $12 for one holiday finisher, and certainly no rational person would ever try to charge $40+ for a DLC bundle, with 0 options to buy the content separately. Seriously, I don't think any other fighting game has ever done that. There's always an option to buy the characters separately if you want to, and that's because it's a win-win for the players and the sellers. The players get a cheaper option, and the seller gets more purchases overall, which means more money overall. It's not rocket science. Whoever handled this stuff with Mortal Kombat 1 needs to get replaced. Put them on a different game at the very least, because this person or possibly group of people single-handedly ruined the reputation of this series, and it's never going to be the same again. Mortal Kombat has permanently lost a huge amount of respect, and it's all their fault. Even months from now, or possibly a year from now, when the next Mortal Kombat game gets announced, guess what? There's gonna be way less excitement, because nobody trusts this series anymore. But there you have it, everyone, the full story of how greed ruined Mortal Kombat 1 and also damaged the reputation of the entire series. I'm very sorry that my voice was gone and I sound completely different during this video. I hope it was possible to tolerate, and best case scenario, it made the video unique. I certainly do hope that was the case. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs. My voice is gone. People are gonna think I'm a smoker, and I'm not. It's just a sinus infection, but my god, if I cut the video, you would have no idea this was me. You would think I'd been replaced.